Good morning all. This is Anuradha Kasangattuva. Let us see. Today we'll discuss about the virtualization in the cloud computing. So let us discuss what are the contents we are going to discuss in this video. What is the meaning of virtualization? Hypervisor, characteristics of virtualization, difference between virtualization and cloud computing. What are the different types of virtualization and what are the benefits as well as drawbacks of the virtualization. Now, let us start with the virtualization. What is the meaning of virtualization? So, virtualization, it is a technology that allows a single physical resource or the server to multiple hosts, which is isolated in the virtual environment, which is called as a VM or the virtual machine. This VM, it can run different operating systems and applications independently, but it can share the resources of the host machine. Now, what is a virtualization? We have seen that it is nothing but a technology which transforms the hardware into the software, and each copy of operating system which is installed on the virtual machine. So here we can see that there is a VMware ECX, that is a software which is used to generate the virtual machines on actual hardware. Now in this diagram, we can see that there is a hypervisor in between the physical hardware, actual physical hardware, and generated VM. VM is nothing but a virtual machine. So how does the virtualization work? So it uses the special software known as hypervisor, which is used to create the virtual instances or cloud instances on actual physical hardware. Now, let us see what is the meaning of hypervisor. So, hypervisor, it is a software layer that manages and allocates a physical hardware resources to the VM. What does it mean? For instance, if any virtual machine wants additional computing capability, it requests it from the hypervisor, and hypervisor ensures the request, it is forwarded to the physical hardware, and it is accomplished. Now, what is hypervisor? Which actually it is a software which can convert the which is used software layer that manage and allocate the physical hardware to reduce the hardware resources for the virtual machine. So all of you understood now what is a students, do you understand what is the meaning of hypervisor? It is a software layer that manages and allocates the physical hardware resources for the virtual machines. So whenever you want to create the virtual machine on a physical hardware or physical system, this hypervisor plays very important role in creating the virtual machines on the actual hardware. Now, let us see, there are two types of hypervisors. So, type 1 hypervisor, it is also called as a bare metal hypervisor. So, in bare metal hypervisor, which is installed directly on the computer hardware without the operating system which is sitting in between. So, now you can see that in this diagram, type 1 hypervisor, which is also called as bare metal hypervisor, which is in this the hypervisor is directly installed on the computer hardware without operating system, which is not there in between the OS, guest OS, and the hardware. So in this diagram we can see that type 1 hypervisor, there is a hypervisor in between the actual hardware and guest OS. Guest OS is nothing but the virtual machine which we are creating using on the actual hardware machine. Now, another type of hypervisor which is called as a type 2 hypervisor, it runs over the installed operating system. So such as there are Windows, Mac OS, there are different types of operating systems which can be installed over the operating system, that is called as type 2 hypervisor. It's employed when you need to execute more than one operating system on one machine. So here you can see that in this diagram, type 2 hypervisor, in between the hypervisor and hardware there is a host OS. Okay, between the guest OS and host OS, hypervisor is there, whereas in type 1 hypervisor, the hypervisor is directly installed on the hardware without OS. Now, let us see what are the different characteristics of the virtual machine. So, first one is increased security. In case of virtual machine manager, it can control and filter the activities of the guest program, and that it can prevent the harmful operations from being performed. So, increased security is one of the characteristics. Next characteristic is sharing. In virtualization, it allows the creation of separate computing environments within the same host. Another characteristics is aggregation. A group of separate hosts, it can be tied together and separated to guest as a single virtual machine. Next characteristics is emulation, which refers to the process when one computer system mimics the hardware and software behavior of completely different system. And the next one is isolation. Virtualization allows providing guests, whether they are operating systems or applications or any entities, with a completely separate environment. That is why this is a isolation. Now let us see what is the difference between cloud computing and virtualization. So what is a cloud computing? It provides and it can pool the resources which are automated. It can be accessed on demand, whereas in virtualization it is used to make the simulated environments through the physical hardware. Then in case of cloud computing, the setup which is tedious, complicated, it takes longer process for the setup in case of the cloud computing, whereas virtualization setup, it is much simpler as compared to the cloud computing. The total operational cost is higher in the cloud computing as compared to the virtualization. In case of virtualization, it is lower than the cloud computing. Then in case of cloud computing, it will provide the unlimited storage space, whereas virtualization, the storage space required, which is dependent on the physical server capacity. So virtualization does not provide the unlimited storage space. The storage space, it depends on the physical server capacity, as it is limited to its capacity. And the last point of comparison is cloud computing requires many dedicated hardware components, whereas a single hardware component can do the great job in case of the virtualization. So student, all of you understood what is the main difference between cloud computing and virtualization? Now let us see what are the different types of virtualization. There are 6 different types of virtualization: application, network, desktop, storage, server, and data. Now let us see one by one. What is the application software or the application virtualization? So it enables the remote access by which the user can directly interact with the deployed application or separate applications from underlying operating systems and hardware, which are allowing them to run independently. Next type of application is network application. So network virtualization, which divides the network bandwidth into independent channels, which can be assigned to the specific servers or devices. So here for network virtualization, the example is Google Cloud. So most of the time we are using Google Cloud for the network virtualization. For example, companies create their own networks using this software instead of the physical devices with the help of the Google Cloud. They can set up their IP address, firewall, and their private connections all in the cloud. So this is the example for the network virtualization. Another type is the desktop virtualization. So what is desktop virtualization? It enables the central server to deliver and manage the individual desktop environments to the multiple users. For example, Gigs for Gigs, it is a tech technology or company which uses the services like Amazon Workspace or Google Cloud virtual desktops to give its team members access to the same coding setup with all the tools they required for easy access of this teamwork. Next type of virtualization is the storage virtualization. So this combines the storage from different types of the servers into single systems and making it easier to manage. So what is storage virtualization? From multiple physical storage devices, it combines different storage devices into single logical storage pool that can be accessed by the virtual machine. For example, Amazon S3 is an example of the storage virtualization, because this S3 we can easily store any amount of data from anywhere. Suppose MNCs have the lots of files and data to store, they can use the S3 for storage virtualization. Another type of virtualization is called as the server virtualization. This involves partitioning the physical server into multiple virtual servers, allowing each to run different operating systems and applications. For example, the startup company has a powerful physical server. This company can use the server virtualization like VMware or vSphere, Microsoft Hyper-V or KVM to create more virtual machines on that one server. Another type of virtualization is data virtualization. So, data virtualization, this brings data from the different resources together in one place without needing to know where or how it is stored, and it creates an unified view of data which can be accessed remotely by using the cloud services. For example, companies like Oracle and IBM offer the solutions for this. Now let us see what are the benefits of the virtualization. More flexible and efficient allocation of the resources can be done through the virtualization. It enhances development productivity. It lowers the cost of IT infrastructure. The remote access and rapid scalability is one of the benefits of the virtualization. High availability and disaster recovery, as you can data can be stored on the multiple number of servers. You can recover that data even if in case of the disaster. Then pay per use of the IT infrastructure or on-demand services are provided. Then it enables running multiple operating systems on a single physical hardware. So all these are the benefits of the virtualization. Now let us see what are the drawbacks of the virtualization. So first drawback is high initial investment. Whenever the clouds have very high initial investment, but it is also true that it will help in reducing the cost of the companies. Initially you have to invest more, then you can actually, once it is installed, then you can reuse all those hardwares or components throughout the services. Then another drawback is learning new infrastructure. Next is risk of data, as hosting data on the third party resources, it can lead to putting the data on the risk. So there may be chances of hacker or cracker very easily. So we have seen what is the virtualization. In short, what are different types of the virtualization? What is hypervisor? There are two types of hypervisor we have seen. Then we have seen different types of virtualization, and what are the benefits as well as what are the drawbacks of those virtualization techniques we have seen. So students, all of you, I hope all of you understood what is the virtualization, what are their types, and what are the advantages and drawbacks of the virtualization. So thank you for listening.